Enemy Intel is brought to you by Rothman Orthopedics at Jefferson Health, the official orthopedics and healthcare partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The number one priority when you face the Dallas Cowboys offense is stopping the run game. That's the challenge for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that run game begins with Ezekiel Elliott and the offensive line. Elliott may be the best pure runner in the league. And the offensive line, while not exactly what it was a few years ago, is still a quality unit, and that's the foundation of the Cowboys offense. Now, there are a number of staple runs that you have to defend. One of them is what we call the G scheme. It's where they pull both offensive guards and they get Zeke to the perimeter. They pull to the right. Elliott, who has great patience, great vision, follows the blocks, and you get a good gain. This is something you will see. The Cowboys run it every single week, and as I said, it's a foundation run for this team. Now, the Cowboys this season have been looking to get Zeke more involved in the pass game since he's one of their most explosive playmakers, and he happens to be a very good receiver. And a number of weeks back, when they played the Detroit Lions and the game went into overtime, they used Zeke as a receiver very effectively. Now, in that overtime period, the Cowboys noticed that Jarrad Davis, the linebacker for the Lions, was matching up man-to-man to Elliott. So what did the Cowboys do? They had Zeke run a vertical route. Dak Prescott delivered the ball, and they had a big play that set up the game-winning field goal in a critical win for the Cowboys. But make no mistake, this Cowboys offense starts with Elliott and that run game. That is the challenge for the Eagles defense, and it's one that they must be up to.
All right, Ike Reese, you know the Dallas Cowboys offense starts with giving the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. He only had 61 yards Monday night, but what is a matchup maybe that the Eagles, they can take advantage of with this Cowboys offensive line?
Well, you know, when you talk about the Dallas Cowboys and their offense, you're going to start with the offensive line. Not as good as it once was a couple years ago, being held as the best offensive line in football. It's not exactly that good anymore, but I tell you, this is still arguably the best guard in football in Zach Martin. So when I look at what the Cowboys do well, which is run the football, and what the Eagles are going to need to do to combat that, that's going to be the Eagles' defensive front, and that's going to start with our best defensive lineman in Fletcher Cox. This is always a key matchup when these two teams meet. I believe Fletcher loves playing against Zach Martin. He knows the reputation of Zach Martin, and so if you have a good game against a guy who's considered the best guard in football, then you're going to be ranked up there as one of the best tackles in football. And you watch here, right? Last year versus the Cowboys, you got a little double team going here with Lael Collins and Zach Martin. Fletcher does a great job of getting skinny and getting a little penetration there, and then watch how he fights off the block here. It's a great job of strength on strength. You can't block him one-on-one. Great job of Fletcher getting rid of the blocker, making the tackle in the backfield. I'm telling you, when he lines up across from Zach Martin, I don't know, it's just something that gets going inside him because he knows he's going to be in for a hell of a matchup.
All right, and let's talk about what Jim Schwartz did in London. He blitzed more than he ever has, according to Malcolm Jenkins, almost double what they normally, but he says it was just because of the field conditions, the poor field conditions for the defensive lineman getting a push. Do you think that he's going to go back to the way he normally does it and not a whole lot of blitzing?
It's a field thing, right, for every coach each week. And when you're blitzing a quarterback like a Dak Prescott, a guy who's mobile, a guy who has the ability to run around, you can sort of leave the back end of your defense a little bit vulnerable. I don't think we'll blitz as much as we did in the Jacksonville game, but I also don't expect Jim Schwartz to just completely abandon the extra pressure because Dallas struggled with blitzes against Tennessee this past week. And in the passing game, if you don't have anywhere to go with the football immediately, that spells trouble for your offense. So I would expect some blitzing, but maybe not as much as we did in Jacksonville.
And the rush defense has been really good the last couple of weeks. The thing that Jim Schwartz has said has hurt them is the quarterback getting out and scrambling. We even saw that with Blake Bortles a little bit.
Yeah, and that's sort of the quandary the defensive coordinator finds himself in when you're playing against a quarterback that's mobile. You can do all the things that you were taught to do that week as far as the pass rushing, and then he's the one X factor. Because of his mobility, he can break down your pressure. So it's kind of like it's pick and choose when you want to do it. With a passing game like the Cowboys have, I would expect to see a little bit of it because their passing game is struggling.